Previously on the Frontier Farmer. Richard has been in touch. He wants to borrow our hoe, our weeder. Well, Richard has done a grand job weeding, so that means we don't need to touch these until harvest time, when we will top them and harvest them. And let's go grab the hay bine. So I have to drive over the grass for the first headland, and then we will swing it out to the side for the subsequent headland and rows. And that is Newfield mown up. So I think this is the first piece of crone equipment that we have purchased for the homestead. Let's get all of this grass forage collected. It is 154,301 litres. Probably got enough time to get another layer of manure out on the grass. We'll have to see what we can turn our attention to next month. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Frontier Farmer at the Dark Forest. It is now May time, and as you can see we are starting off at the bunker this morning, and this is where we deposited all the grass which we mowed from Newfield. Oh, there was a crow hiding in the pile there. Yes, we were looking very much forward to getting that grass mowed, and we did so last month. I think we've got quite a sizable quantity, 154,301 litres, which is pretty good. So we've got to get this compacted and flattened up somewhat, but we are not going to be covering the bunker today because I'm hopeful that we'll get another cut out of Newfield before the year is up. I think the grass has already started to regrow and our other crops are doing pretty well as well. So we best start off by parking up this fantastic forage wagon, which served us really well, collecting up all of the rows of grass which we mowed with our hay bine. And yes, I was really enjoying getting into the hay bining and mowing last month, so I look forward to later on in the year when we get to do it again. But we'll park up the forage wagon in this shed here, and we'll probably park up the international harvester for a little while as well, but we will come back to it because yes, we need to compact. So I'm thinking the best vehicle for the job is probably a lovely Volvo wheel loader. Fire up, beacons on, as this is a job worthy of beacons. And not sure if I'm going to use the bucket on the front. We will see. Might come in handy for shifting some big chunks and piles around. But let's get this grass all compacted, and then we can move on to some of the other jobs we've got planned today, which is a bit of a surprise. And there we go. Just been watching the compacting tick over into 100%, and that is done now. And I think it's fair to say that took a lot longer than I was expecting it to. I guess the volume of grass needed a good amount of compacting, and maybe our Volvo is not as heavy as I thought it was, so potentially the Kirovets might be the better vehicle to do some compacting with in the future once we've got the next load of grass in that bunker. So yeah, it will be left uncovered for a little while, which should be fine because it's mostly dry in these months. If it rains, I might have to go and just put the shed cover on, because there is a shed cover for that bunker, but yes, not the actual cover that ferments it. But yes, right, let's park up the Volvo. That can go back now, and I think we'll be back into the International as we will be doing something with Berr Field, but not before we head over to the distribution centre, as Richard has been in touch, and it seems like he's been on a bit of a shopping spree, well, for something in particular. So let's hop in the International and head over to see what he has in store for us. Now, this International is so dirty, it's mucky on the inside. Here we go, we are at the distribution centre, and I can see Richard, and I can see what he has been busy purchasing. He did ask us for some money, which we gave him to make a purchase, and the purchase is a milk truck. That's right, we have a milk truck in the dark forest now, and the main purpose for this, hello Richard, is effectively to transport milk from our cows to the dairy. We of course have a trailer that can cart milk, but I think the onus is now going to be on our Lake Point settlers and our Riverway workers to do the milk deliveries for us. Yes, just been admiring the milk truck that we have now, Richard. It's looking quite fancy, isn't it? Right, I guess you're in charge of milk truck duties today, so we'll follow you back to the homestead and see our first delivery of milk going. Right, Richard is off in a hurry. We better follow, as I think he's very keen to go pick up the milk. I wonder if we'll be able to keep up with him. I think we've just been able to catch up with him before he's got to the cow farm. So here he goes. He is just getting lined up with where he can collect the milk. There we go. And oh, I think he has got a full load. That was very quick. And he's just driven around the cow farm, and back out he goes over to the dairy. Right, I guess we'll follow him over there. Richard has come about and is unloading the milk into the dairy, and then I think planning on doing a second load, and as many loads as he can to get the dairy full and the cows emptied. Right, we have left Richard to it, and in the meantime we want to come along and pick up this cultivator, and the reason for that is we are going to be doing something with Berr Field. Here we go. So what are we going to be doing, I hear you ask? Well, I was dead set on merging Berr Field with Stone End Field, and making it one large field, we would have cut down the trees in between those two fields to make that possible. But I have been in discussion with some of our settlers, and mainly Richard, because he is a good consult for us, and because of the new and improved farm shop at Riverways, the settlers are in demand, or the settlers are wanting rather, some more fruit. And I thought, well, what better than to place an orchard in Berr Field, and that will make it Berr Orchard, which I think is a nice sentiment to Tim Berr, and I think it will be a much more attractive site than just an additional kind of expanded field. So yes, Berr Field is going to become Berr Orchard. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get this cultivated up, and once we are cultivated up, we are going to be setting up and constructing a lovely orchard. So leave this with me, and then we can get on to planting our orchard trees. Raising up, and there we go. That's a bit of a rough cut or rough cultivate, but not to worry, because we are not putting a crop in this field, but cultivating it is hopefully going to leave a nice bed for us to plant our orchard trees in. Now the orchard I have in mind is going to have quite a bit of variety, so we will see what is on offer once we get it constructed and the trees planted. But first of all, let's get the cultivator parked away in the shed, and then I'm going to have to call in a delivery from the distribution centre for all of the materials and trees that we want to plant. And then we are going to have to source quite a few other materials, things like seed or water, manure, lime, fertilizer, all that stuff, so the orchard can function properly. There we go, cultivator dropped off. I think we can probably park up the International, because we are not going to need that for now. And oh, looks like we've got a nice little spot here that we can park it in now, a little alcove. Perfect. Right, let's get constructing our orchard. And here it is, our orchard. Now, it doesn't look like much at the moment. The trees are very bare, but that's because we have to provide quite an amount of materials. But let's have a little look. We've got all sorts of different trees here, and we have got apricot trees, apple trees, cherry trees, pear trees, plum trees, and peach trees. So a really nice variety there. And we have got all sorts of stuff that we need to provide for them. There's a hard standing here, which is where the pallets of fruit are going to be collected by us. So yes, we will be able to collect some of the fruit, and it will wind its way here into different fruit pallets. Now there's a water tank here because the trees need a good amount of water to keep them nice and fruitful. And there is a pile here where we can put manure or compost. And of course we have a good amount of manure from our French dovecote. So we're going to be putting some manure in here. And also I think there's a couple of other things we need to factor in. So let's take a look. So here we go. This is our orchard. It is the temperate fruit trees orchard. So temperate means it is of a fitting temperature for our climate here. So all of these fruits we could grow within our seasonal cycle. And in terms of recipe and inputs, water is the predominant and base product that we need for everything. Then it is a bit of a mixture. We could have compost, which we're going to have to probably look at producing in the future because we don't have a silo at the moment where we can put organic material like straw, hay and grass in to make compost. But that is something we could look to do in the future. Or we can put manure in, which we do have a good supply of. So yeah, I think we'll be looking to utilise manure. And then there is lime, solid fertiliser and empty pallets. And those all contribute to the productivity of our orchard. So lime, definitely we can get hold of. Solid fertiliser we can get hold of as well. And for empty pallets, I've been in touch with Richard and he thinks that one of our settlers is quite happy to set up a shack in Riverways where he can knock together some pallets from the spare wood. So we'll go over there later this afternoon to see if we can fetch some. Righto, so we have a busy afternoon of gathering all the bits and pieces and materials we need to make a productive orchard. So I'm going to set about that and see you when we've got things up and running. Well, there he is, good old Barkamus. Nice to see him strolling around. Now, the last deposit that I am doing is straw to the dovecote because we took a good portion of a manure out of there. So we need to really replenish the dovecote if we can with some more straw to get that converted into manure. But we deposited lots of water using the previous milk tanker that we had on the hitched up to the IFA, and then we took a load of manure, lime and then solid fertiliser to the orchard. Right, that's all the straw in, so we can get this trailer parked up now, and then I'm going to switch over to the flatbed, which is jammed between the shed and the rock there, because we are going to head over to Riverways. And I'm hoping that the pallet shack has been constructed and that we've potentially got some pallets being produced as we speak. Richard has said that he's quite keen to help us out on the orchard and get that up and running. So yeah, let's get hitched up and go take a look. And you'll notice that the trees have now got some foliage on them, thanks to all the lovely materials that we've been providing to help them grow. Right, over the bridge into Riverways, and Richard mentioned that the pallet shack has been set up in the corner here. Fantastic. Now I think they are operational, but we need some more deliveries of materials to the pallet shack, and this is going to be using wood chips and wood to make pallets. So here we go. Yep, wood chips and wood as input. Actually, it's wood chips or wood as input, and then empty pallets come out. So let's wait for delivery to happen, and then hopefully we can produce some pallets. There we go. We have been waiting a little while, but we have some pallets now. So we'll get these loaded up onto our flatbed. The flatbed was a bit overkill for this, but never mind. Let's just push that a bit further over so we've got room for the other pallet. Yes, I'm hoping that delivery-wise, the team over at Riverways are going to be happy to deliver the pallets where we need them. And I've got some other potential productions in mind for the future that will make use of pallets. Right, let's get that strapped down, hop back in the Iveco, and get these pallets to our orchard. Over the bridge, and we'll loop around. And I'm thinking these pallets will just deposit themselves into the orchard. And the purpose of these pallets is that the boxes of fruit can just be stacked on top of them, which helps the productivity. Okay, our pallets have spawned in, and I gotta say, I think the orchard is looking pretty good now. Let's have a little look at all the trees and what we've got growing. And the orchard is not complete without its sign naming it Berr Orchard in honour of Tim. Now, of course, it's been a long while since Tim was on the homestead and in the dark forest, but we still do remember him. His memorial is over there, and yes, in honour of Tim, we have named this Berr Orchard. And I think it's quite befitting because Tim was a lover of the forest and of growing your own produce, and I think he'll be very proud of this orchard. The end of a long day and a different day. I was expecting that we might be into some more forestry work and forestry projects, but an idea struck from some of the chatter we had with our settlers at Lake Point, and Richard predominantly, that we should build an orchard, and we have done so. So I look forward to getting the produce from that orchard in the future. Next time could potentially be setting up some more productions that we have in mind, which will be interesting. But that is it for today. I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any tips, tricks, or things you'd like me to do, then feel free to leave a comment. But all there's left to say is, hope to see you again next time, and until then, catch you later. Cheers all, bye bye.